You thank you for being fantastic and keeping us fantastic and fabulous. We first of all, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, everybody.
Yes. We are grateful to have you back on our show. We have not seen or heard from you physically in a while, which is okay. But then when we heard you had overcome a few things.
I a few things is just a bit of an understatement.
It's an understatement.
Yeah. I rolled right into the new year with a touch of pneumonia.
No, not pneumonia.
Yes, pneumonia. Everybody was out celebrating. I was underneath the bed, trying to nurse myself. And the truth of the matter is, right after I got pneumonia, I got COVID, right back to back. Okay.
So, oh, pneumonia and COVID. Oh, wow. You are a walking testimony.
I am.
You are a walking testimony. Pneumonia
yeah.
and COVID. I did have pneumonia once. It was debilitating, I tell you. I don't know, other than the grace of God, I overcame it. I did have COVID, but I didn't have them back to back. I didn't. So you are resilient.
Yeah.
You have a whole new just outlook on resilience, huh?
Yes, I do. I told the lady, I said, you know what? Y'all took all of my new year, the first part of the year.
Well,
but that's okay. I'm here.
You're here, and we're glad to have you on the Yak, the Yolanda and Cornelia show. We are so grateful that you are here representing Alchemy Business Consulting that we haven't mentioned in a while. So tell everybody about Alchemy Business Consulting and how they can connect.
Yeah, so Alchemy Business Consulting is a boutique consulting agency, and we specialize in small businesses, helping them with employee attraction and retention. What we do know is that it can be difficult during these times to find employees that are sticky. Employees are looking for benefits, employees are looking for a positive culture, and that's what we help you to create. Whether it's bringing in cost-effective benefits like dental and vision, or even mental health. We will help you find those resources that can benefit you and your organization and help attract employees, good and great employees. And you can reach us at 615-809-1615.
615-809
1615.
1615. So 615 actually, huh?
Yeah.
1615. Okay, that's easy to remember.
It is.
Okay, backing up. How did you know you had pneumonia, girl?
Oh Lord.
What is going on with you? Talk to us about just woke up one morning. What happened?
No, it wasn't no wake up one morning. I nursed a cold, what I thought was a cold, until a friend of mine told me, no, that cough does not sound right. And so I said, one morning I woke up and it felt like something was laying on my chest and I couldn't breathe. And
let's see here.
Okay.
All right, caller, you're on the air. Welcome to the Yak, the Yolanda and Cornelia show. Who do we have on this wonderful, fabulous line? Minister Genesis Hope, is this my newfound TikTok friend? well, wonderful Minister Hope. Say good afternoon to the lady Stacy Cole.
Good afternoon.
Welcome. Listen, welcome to the Yak, the Yolanda and Cornelia show. I'm glad you have called in. We need you to give us your TikTok handle on the front end so everybody in our listening audience can go follow you on TikTok. And then we need to get you on this show because you're live on radio in Nashville, Tennessee. So you're live. So use your sanctified voice. Do not use the other Peter's voice. I need you to use your sanctified voice on the radio. Well, you never know with me and Lady Stacy and I. You know, we just glad that you can just jump on and tell us a little bit about your ministry and where you're from and your headquarters.
Absolutely. Well, we are in Atlanta, Georgia.
All right.
Our Motivation Ministry was formed about 7 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Myself, I was praying. I said, Lord, if this is what you're calling me to do, I've been in ministry for a very long time with my mother and father out of Dallas, Texas. And I said, sometimes we challenge the Lord. If you tell me to really go out and minister and preach the gospel, you give me a sign. And he did exactly that. Weeks later, someone asked me to come to the church for a youth conference.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, the Lord gave me, "Are you loving right?" And so as we were ministering at the youth conference, a young lady, she stopped me outside and she sent me a letter. And I got home and read the letter, and I said in the letter that she was actually on her way to commit suicide. And she heard a voice of
Pneumonia, just pneumonia, just like just pneumonia, just then COVID.
And then COVID.
Yes.
Yeah. I know. I was just saying that I woke up and it felt like somebody was on my chest. Literally, and I couldn't breathe, really.
Wow.
And I called virtual care, and I know what is virtual care.
Right, what is that virtual?
Yes, there are board certified doctors. You can give them a phone call, and they will ask you your symptoms. And I had a wonderful doctor, and she said, go to the emergency room right now. And you need a chest x-ray. Got to that place, and they said, yes, you have pneumonia.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank God they didn't keep me, though. I guess if there's versions of pneumonia, I had a mild version, but it was very scary because old school, that's the death of pneumonia, and that's usually what it's called, and I was scared.
Listen, in the South, I don't know if Lady Shantae heard this, in the western part of the country, my grandmama and great-grand aunties would say, you're going to catch double pneumonia. Did you ever hear about that? She said, the old folks would say double pneumonia. I'm like, how do you catch it twice? But that was that way that you're really, really sick. But we're grateful that God has restored you back to life and health.
Yes, yeah.
Because you have a business that you have to run. And running a business, hey, who fills in for you when you're sick?
Nobody.
Right. Who
Nobody.
fills in for you when you're sick?
It's just me.
Right. So, all right. Pneumonia, COVID. 2024 has presented some challenges.
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes.
That's okay. That's not really right you're here, but we want to get your business back out in front of the people because your services are definitely needed. Yeah. And they're, hey, let me say that. Yeah, we need them in the community of faith.
A phase.
Yeah, faith.
Faith.
In the faith community.
Absolutely.
You know, we have people that are employed.
Yeah.
Most churches have a musician, maybe a minister of music, pastor, associate pastors.
Yes.
And, you know, in my denomination. So I would love to bring you to the church.
Absolutely. My goal is to be of service. And so how I am of service is by offering community-based services that are cost-effective to small businesses.
Okay.
The core of my business is mom and pop.
Yeah.
And small entities that have 3 employees, 10 employees, under 50 that think that, hey, we can't afford to do something. And that is not the truth. There are such things as voluntary benefits.
Okay.
That are accessible, and they work well in different communities that things like cancer plans. Okay. 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women may be diagnosed with cancer. Those are the stats. And if you think about it, do you know somebody that has ever had cancer?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And I just want to, our pastor friend has, it's just discovered that he has prostate cancer.
Yes, I'm sorry.
He's doing fine, and they caught it early.
Thank God.
Yeah, and we've had some individuals in our church who have that same diagnosis. So I know a few people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I go out and have conversations with people, I ask them if they know somebody and how that has impacted them in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
That's a voluntary benefit that you can offer to your staff, your community. You can offer that as a benefit. And I'm sure based off of your experience and just interacting with those people, you know that there's a big financial burden that comes along with a diagnosis like that.
Of course.
And so offering something as simple as voluntary at a small business such as a cancer policy can make a big difference to your staff. And something as simple as that. And if you want to get into the meat and potatoes and, you know, your budget is expansive and abundance, you could offer some major medical. That's available to you. But a lot of the businesses that I have conversations with, that's not in the wheelhouse. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the meat and potatoes of the wheelhouse and the things that you provide, the medical, the dental, what are the meat and potatoes, so that people will have some clarity on what that is.
So when I say meat and potatoes, so there are different buckets of. So today's focus, we're going to talk about benefits. I should say that's what we're talking about. So a lot of businesses, they when I say meat and potatoes, we're talking about major medical. That's like your Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Right.
Okay. And that can run you $300-400 an employee per month.
Correct.
Okay. And so when you're looking at overall operations of a family-owned business, an employee, salaries, things like that, and bringing in a $300, $400, $500, $600 a month benefit plan is really out of the wheelhouse. It's not affordable.
Mm-hmm.
So small businesses can then, if that's not an option, they can bring in things like virtual care. They can bring in things like dental and vision. Those programs cost $4 or $5 an employee. Okay. It may run you $40 a month versus a $300 a month. Okay. Larger companies, they pay typically 50 to 60% of a person's health insurance. Smaller companies, they may not have that available, those resources available. So what I do is I come in and I try to help them customize the benefits that are affordable to them.
Okay.
And if they have the flexibility to be able to offer the big boy, packages, hey, I can help you with that as well.
Okay.
But, mainly what I focus on are the people who can't. They don't have it in their wheelhouse to be able to offer those type of things. Yeah.
Business again, and how can we find you so we can get into some announcements and some advertisements and move on?
Yes. So I can be found at 615-809-1615, and that is my direct cell phone. Just call me and I'll pick up the phone and say, hey, how can I help you? And that's how you can find me.
And that's Alchemy?
Alchemy Business Consulting.
The name Alchemy is different.
It is.
So different.
It is.
What's
Alchemy is about transformation.
Okay.
Now that there's like a dictionary version of alchemy, and it turning things to scientific, turning chemicals to gold and stuff like that. But I'm not going to get into all of that.
Okay.
But in the essence of that, we're talking about transformation.
Uh-huh.
And at the time in 2018 when I started, I was in a stage of transformation, and that's where Alchemy came from.
All right, I'm trying to connect the dots again. Alchemy, I'm thinking scientific. I'm thinking sixth grade. I'm thinking, okay, I remember that term from somewhere, but I've never associated to a business. Until I met you. And I can't remember. Where we meet at?
Right here.
Did we?
Yes.
Okay. Well, right at the other station,
Yes.
Okay. You're right. I was like,
right here,
We started having our conversation, and you were doing great things, and you're still doing great things. And as we're going to get into the next phase, okay, I need everybody to go to benefits. Small and large business, right?
That's correct,
For all the businesses.
All the businesses,
Wonderful. Make sure we connect with Lady Stacy with her business, Alchemy Business Consulting. Other than insurance, do you offer anything else?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
The customized corporate training. So if you need leadership development, you're having some culture issues, customer service, I can work to help you improve those. And I can come up with a customized training specifically designed around your staff.
Okay. So you do all of those wonderful things.
Yeah.
Got you. Now, let me give you some announcements, and we're going to get into the next part of this conversation that you and I have kind of been throwing around an idea. But this show is brought to you by Walker's Cafe and Grill, 109 Ewan Drive from 12 to 5. This show is brought to you by the Ephesian Primitive Baptist Church, 1506 22nd Avenue North, Nashville, Tennessee, 37208. This show is brought to you by Forever Zion. That's Paparazzi Jewelry. For your bae, your significant, your subordinate, your cousin and them, your friend, your enemy, your frenemy. Go to www.foreverzion.com. This show is brought to you by Trifold Outreach Ministry. Trifold Outreach Ministry that meets on the second and the fourth Sunday in Zoom. This show is brought to you by the World Class Training.net. Lady Donna Marie Morris for all your world-class training needs. This show is brought to you by Divine Drips. Divine Drips, Torsha Hudson, RN, for your IV therapy. Also, and last but not least, this show is brought to you by Alchemy Business Consultant. We are so grateful to have Lady Stacy Cole with us today. And we're shifting gears, people, into the next segment. We talked about a few things about business and benefits. Now we want to tap into some of her personal history. She has a story she wants to share, and the next event that we're going to try to sponsor. No, we're not going to try to sponsor. We're going to bring some awareness to. So, Lady Stacy, I'm going to let you lead because it's you.
What we're talking about?
Oh,
Mental. Oh,
yeah. She's like,
look, you changed topics on me real quick.
well, you know, I was just flowing.
I was trying to
flow.
like what story you want me to tell? I got a bucket of them.
So listen, because she has a bucket of stories, that means y'all will see us podcasting more often in 2024. So hopefully every 4 to 6 weeks we will be uploading a podcast where she and I will be sharing some things. But what are your stories? What brought you to Tennessee?
That story.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am from Chicago, and I was
Chicago, west side?
South side.
How
South
far are
side
you
Chicago.
from Pulaski and Cicero?
Maybe about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, it's been a long time since I lived there. So
Okay.
I was living in New York City.
Okay.
And some trauma and tragedy happened there.
That's all.
Okay. Is that the story, bucket of story you want me to lean into? Okay,
yeah,
so I'm
trauma
okay
and tragedy.
Trauma and tragedy. And that brought me to Tennessee. Okay. And that trauma and tragedy, in which I wasn't prepared to talk about today, is the topic of sexual assault. And that brought me here to Nashville, and my grandmother was here. And it's an important topic because 90% of those cases are not discussed because people don't like to report. I found the courage in me to report and went to the police and did all those things. However, the trauma behind that, it lingers. And so I feel like the most important part of the topic is more about mental health.
Okay.
And when we talk about mental health and some tragedy and trauma, it's not easily, you don't just get over it. And I'm not just talking about with sexual assault. It could be some things that happen in your childhood. It could be verbal abuse. It could be a teacher that told you, hey, you're not smart or you're dumb or embarrassed you at some point. Those things are considered trauma, and trauma takes time for you to get over. So a very important topic is called ACEs, and every person has an ACEs score.
Right.
Okay.
Adverse childhood experience.
Exactly.
ACEs. We're so familiar with that.
Okay. So if you think about a child, and this is important for adults as well, if you think about a child that gets on, that maybe grew up in an impoverished neighborhood, and that's what I'm going to focus on today. Impoverished neighborhood, from the time that they get up, they may not have food, right? So that's something that has impacted them. They're hungry. They have to get on the bus. You don't know if that child has seen abuse or being yelled at in the household. You don't know what's going on. So that score continuously increases, right? Mm-hmm. And throughout high school, whatever, maybe a teacher said something to them, a breakup, that increases the score, okay? Now what I want you to remember as an adult, if you had 30-something years of trauma or tragedy, that thing is not going to heal overnight. It takes counseling and you continuously working through your healing process to get to that place. And even just at the moment that you think, hey, I'm healed, I promise you that you need to do a little bit more work.
Wow.
Okay. Because you don't heal overnight. Healing takes time. And if you think about it seriously, those traumas that you may have experienced in childhood and young adulthood, they leave a little bit of a residue and they fold into your career. And so you're trying to figure out, hey, I can't get to the next level because, hey, you thinking it's maybe your job. Perhaps it's how you handle confrontation.
Right, which is traumatic.
Right. Which you ultimately learned how to handle in the childhood.
Which is probably incorrect.
Most
of us.
Yeah.
Handle it totally. Mediation, no.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean?
Knock it off my
Yeah.
You remember that?
Get over it. Knock it off your shoulder. Get over it.
That's
get over it. That's not how or suppress it.
Right.
You're thinking, I can't keep a steady relationship. Well, do you know how to communicate within that relationship effectively?
And listening.
To understand.
First.
Not to respond.
Not to be understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a part of trauma.
Absolutely. That's a part of the healing process.
Okay.
So, because the trauma is a one-hit instance.
Okay.
Okay. And even if it was continued physical abuse. Right. It was hit and heal. But the scars that are inside, that are internal. Those are the scars that don't heal overnight.
Man.
It doesn't heal overnight.
It doesn't heal overnight. Mm-hmm. So, let's see here. Listen, people, we're going to finish this conversation. I can promise you that. But the Music City Marathon is coming up in April, and one of the things I want to do is raise awareness for victims of sexual assault. And Lady Stacy and I will be sharing more of our traumas and triggers and healing processes. So throughout this broadcast and many more to come, we're going to set up a web page, and do some things because Ron is there. He does that. Do you have a website?
I do, but not for those.
Right. We're going to do something separate. Ron is going to help us with all of those things so that we can get everything, on the up and up. But we have triggers. We do have traumas. Mm-hmm. And we even learning to listen to me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can ignore my own pain.
Mm-hmm.
I have for many years.
Yeah.
I mean, and I found other ways of coping that was detrimental to my spiritual and moral development.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
You find solace in things that are not therapeutic.
Mm-hmm. And that could be things like sugar, overindulging in TV as a distraction.
Right.
Hey, if I get distracted, I don't have to think about it.
Right.
I don't have to deal with it.
And that happens easily.
It's very easy to do it. You can be a workaholic. That has been That's the thing that I do. I mean, I fold into work just like that. And I can get into it and work from 7 a.m. to 12 just as a distraction. Because when you sit in silence, that's when all the thoughts and everything rush forward and you start overthinking and doing all those things. Well, hey, that's a trigger.
That's a trigger.
That can be a trigger, or something happened and now I'm working long hours unnecessarily.
Right. For what reason?
Yeah.
Because of the distraction.
Yeah.
I'm a workaholic.
Yeah.
These are the things that I like to do. These are the things that I do. So you talked about being a workaholic as a distraction.
It's a distraction.
But it's not therapeutic.
It's not.
The things that we choose the things that we choose that we deem therapeutic are usually tragic.
No.
They're another layer of the tragedy. And we cover it up with other things. Ooh, that's just... Okay. Y'all, we landing the plane. We're circling the runway. Again, how can they find Alchemy Business Consulting?
Yes. Call me. I love to talk to people. I do. I love to talk to people. So call me at 615-809-1615. But before we wrap things up, I wanted to give, because we're going to talk about mental health today, and we dabbed in it just a little bit in the conversation. It's just a tiny bit. But I wanted to give some resources here in Nashville. And I have a couple. One is the Mental Health Cooperative.
Correct.
Okay. And they provide a range of mental health services, including crisis intervention, counseling, and case management. Okay. And then I want to give Centerstone. I have a few more, but I'm going to give Centerstone. Centerstone offers comprehensive mental health and addiction treatment services for children, adults, and families.
Hey, y'all, and she's got a few more. Guess what? In about 2 minutes, she'll give the rest of those things on the Christian Business Net Connection. This is the Yolanda and Cornelia show with Lady Stacy Cole and the Alchemy Business Consultant. See you next week, same time, same place.
Less commercials.
It's gospel you can feel and